union, you have an $8 million credit union. It's all different asset size. It doesn't matter, right? And we try to have fun at SEC Way. So when we produce our conference handout, instead of just the traditional photo, we put the baby photos, and then they graduated to the high school photo. There I am with my gold jacket. I don't know what I was thinking. And membership data, we have over 50 credit unions that are a member of SEC Way. We primarily focus on 5 counties: LA, Orange, San Bernardino, Ventura, and I forgot the other one. And the total assets combined between our members and credit union without Schools First is about $7 billion. Average asset size of the credit union members is about $100 million, representing this many employees, full-time and part-time, this many members, number of branches, and we hold 8 events each year. I just told you, there's no staff for this, right? These are all volunteer. And our business partners, we have over 40 of them, and we do have a membership fee that we charge. But the membership fee really goes to the event because it's a non-for-profit. We don't generate any income. In fact, I'm the one that does the projection for each event. This is how we do it. Let's say that today you're doing this event. Let's say the cost of this event is $1,000, and let's say there's 10 of you. Guess what? Our share is $100 a piece. We try to make all the event basically pay for itself. I have a barometer of 3,000. If the event's going to be 3,000 negative or positive, then that's how I do my projection. I figure I can go to my 3 different boards and ask for that $1,000 if I need to, right? So these are all the some of the members of SEC Way. We do have associate members from other like the northern part of California, but this is where we hold our meeting. It's at the ECCU, which is the Evangelical Christian Credit Union. And the only reason we hold it there, well, first, they have a really nice place. But secondly, because you can kind of tell it's somewhat centralized, right? Imagine traffic, right? So, and these are the collaborations that have taken place since SEC Way has been in inception. So, like I said, we did branch sharing, collections officer sharing, compliance, staff training, marketing, benefits and health services, or HR services. That was a significant cost reduction for us, and I'll show you the slide that refers to that. Vendor contract review. Sometimes you're getting into, let's say, mobile banking, because remember, this was 6 years ago or 8 years ago when we started this. Mobile banking, maybe some of you already had it, but a lot of us didn't. We're still looking at it, right? That was a perfect opportunity for us to come together and do the review, because what this gentleman might ask is something I didn't even think about, right? So you gotta let ego on the side. I'm not the smartest guy in the group, but I have the biggest pom-pom. So I try to get all the smart people around me so we can try to make sure we do this right. This is probably the biggest collaboration that we accomplished, is we had 22 credit unions did a core system research. Imagine trying to have 22, it's kind of like, I don't know how many credit unions are here, but trying to do that, and we did 4 demos of 4 different systems. And not all of them went to the same credit union system, and I'll get to that when we get to that slide. Back office and accounting officer sharing. So this is that branch that I was talking about, right? It's literally, you go into this credit union, you walk straight, that's the city of Downey. On the left side is a postal credit union. Completely different credit union. Same system, completely different credit union. And our shirts have both of our credit union logos on them, left and right. Because in the end, we don't overanalyze. Well, what is it about? We want to just help our member. She can't afford it, I can't afford it, but we can afford it together. That's what we did. Unfortunately, it closed. But we did it, right? We closed because City of Downey eventually had to merge. This was my future thought, right? I should have put on there credit unions of Hawaii, and then all of the Hawaiian credit unions will be listed on here. And I know there's already shared branching and there's already co-op. Doesn't mean you can't have your own ATM, right? Has anybody here used those ATMs that is not proprietary to you? The one that you pay like $400 a month? Anybody use that here? Really? Like Welch ATM? So Welch ATM, because ATMs are expensive to deploy, right? So we have Welch ATM over in California where they put the machine and we pay them $400 if it doesn't generate enough transactions. But if it generates enough transactions and they get their cut already, we don't pay anything. So imagine trying to work with them because they would put your logo in it. What about if you put all of our logos in it? Who cares? Maybe they're going to want a higher piece of action from that, but so what? If it's still going to be less for you, I mean, we're only talking 400, but now if you're talking nothing, so here's the employee benefits. So these are the actual savings of these credit unions when they went to this program. Now, not everybody is still on this program, but during the time, that's what happened. But here's what's interesting. There are 4 credit unions that weren't going to have any type of a savings, right? But it wasn't any savings for that year, but it was moving forward, we were going to have savings. In fact, that was mine, Calcom and City of Downey, 2 of them. We went through this program without necessarily getting any savings. But it was because moving forward, it was going to have savings for us. This is the data processing system. 22 credit unions, 11 went to one system, 7 stayed on their existing system, and 4 went to another system. This was a long drawn process. It took a while to make this happen, but we did it. And really, what we try to do now is we try to do more back office sharing together. We're trying to do a call center together right now. None of these things take overnight. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of time. And that's the reason why I said it's really important that not only the executives are involved, because during that time of waiting, staff and board and executives are changing. So you want to make sure you always try to keep in touch together so that hopefully if there's a change of guard, they're still going to be able to run it and execute it, right? Because it does have an impact on everybody else that's playing. So having that same computer is shared by all the credit unions. So SECUA, like I said, we try to come up with events that allows people to come together. So these are all the events that we do in a year. Now the orange ones have been discontinued. So we were doing them as it required or needed, I should say. So we actually did a winter staff training. That's when we brought Brett Christensen. And then we also do spring staff training before. And then before we do 4 quarterly collaboration forums, but we took out the second one. Instead, we now do an annual conference where last year, or this year, we had 170 people attending that conference. And it's open for all credit union employees, not just the executive, and also including the volunteers. So far, we're averaging about 1,300 attendees in all of our events each year. That's only counting the ones that we're still doing, not the ones that we've discontinued. Again, there's no back office on this. This is purely credit union executives coming together and making this happen. This is how we do it. So I think there's 8 events left, and we have about 16 steering committee. What we do is we partner up. So me and Becky will be partner, and Dennis and Janine will be partner on an event, so that if all of a sudden something happens to either me or Becky, one of us hopefully will still be around to keep going and making things happen, right? And then Erica, my executive assistant, she's the one that just helps on the administration part of it, part-time, because otherwise she has to keep on calendar too. This is our website. We try to maximize the use of the website, so all the registration, I know it's kind of dated here, but all the registration is done here, everything is done here. So when we put out an invite, they all just go in here and then they can register, and I believe they can pay in here. So photo of one of our staff training. These are all the CEOs. This is the ECCU, our collaboration forum that we do each quarter. And so you'll see that there's a U shape here, right? So the first U are all the credit union executives. The second U are maybe the non-CEOs if we have too many, because this accommodates up to 48. So these are, if they're not CEOs, they'll be sitting here, or we also encourage future leaders, so we charge a little less for future leaders. And then on that side over there, the peanut gallery there, that's the business partners. And the way we do this is, again, we do it in Brea because it's centrally located, and I talked about the setup. But our agenda is that in the morning, it's exclusive to credit union executives and the California Credit Union League if they want to attend. And we do an open forum in the morning, and who's ever in charge of that, hosting that actual meeting, remember the partners, right? They'll be doing facilitating of the open forum. So they have kind of some subject matters that they'll shoot out to the membership if in case the discussion stops. But we try to get everybody to talk, to try to say, what do you need over there, Robert? What do you need over there? Or here's what I need from my credit union. And it's open forum. If we do get a speaker that we only want our credit union executives to hear, then we invite them and they come in the morning. But typically all the speakers go in the afternoon. So just most recently we had Mr. Rudy Hanley. He's a former CEO of Schools First Credit Union. So we had the pleasure of having him come to us last month, or this month, and earlier this month spoke to us. But in the afternoon, lunch starts at 12, and then we have everybody else come in, meaning all the business partners are allowed to join in. And then later in the afternoon, everybody goes to Yard House, which is a brewery pretty close to where that meeting is. And obviously that's optional, but the interesting thing, there seems to be more people going there than the afternoon. That's not true, that's not true. We have the Vegas rule, right? What happens here stays here, or is what is said, or what is shared at that open forum in the morning stays there. We try not to make it like a regulator bashing. That's not what we're there for. But sometimes some of the information is shared are about our business partners. So we try to make sure that the discussion stays there. We have a rule of 30-minute presentation. If you can't get your topic done in 30 minutes, that's going to be a problem, because like most of you here, we only have 17-minute attention span, right? Anything beyond that will be too long. That's why I'm trying to see if you guys are still awake. So a good example, one of the things that I was really excited about is, remember during that time that we were looking for corporate credit union, because, well, at our case, we lost Western Bridge or Westport. So we were then at that time identifying which corporate credit union to go with. Well, what we did is we asked all 4 of them to come out, at least the 4 that's listed here: Catalyst, Corporate America, Suncor, and Aloya. We had each one of them present every 30 minutes, and we kind of prepped them. We said, we only want to hear about your products. It's really not, not that they would do it, but we want to make sure they're not going to talk about what the others are not doing. We just want to hear what you're doing, right? And then right after they do their presentation, back to back, 4 of them, then we put them up on a panel, and there they are up on the panel. I think that's Bruce. And then we were shooting questions to them. Again, there was like 50 CEOs shooting questions to them, asking them different things. And they had to behave, because they're literally elbow to elbow to their competitors. But you know what made it cool about this? Not only it made them behave, but what's cool about it is it made it good for them too. They don't have to visit the 50 credit unions, or at least they can do a preliminary introduction to them, and then whoever was interested invited them for a one-on-one meeting, right? So that's the type of things that we try to do. So our collaboration in this particular case was a knowledge base, right? We wanted to see what was the best option for us out there, and what better way to do it to do it together. Again, we now start doing conferences, and we have some real official speakers. And so again, what we do is we project the cost of what the whole thing is going to cost, and then we back it up and identify what the per member cost is going to be. Clearly, the vendors or the business partners support this event. And then we used to have a golf event separately before, so we just attached that to the conference. And I actually have a video to play here for you guys. I know I'm talking about it, but it's better for me to show the video. Can you hear it? You guys hear it? Not really.
And so I think the S1030003 conveys that message. Convey that message, but we've got to work together.
I don't know if it's on.
We can get that message out to more credit unions across the country.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's dancing too.
Don't tax my credit unit 1.5 million contacts into our elected officials, 400
We also have breakout sessions for the volunteers. So we have a lot of volunteers that come in. So I'm not going to bore you with the golf. Plus, I don't want you to see my swing. And then the other thing that we do, so that's primarily for the executives and then for the volunteers, right? And then we also do what we call the Credit Union Olympics. So we have this trophy that is a perpetual trophy. And so whoever wins it that year gets to keep this trophy. And then they do things with that trophy for fun. And so it's a big picnic. I know, what is collaboration about that? Well, again, it's really a matter of taking some of these people out of their element, keeping it fun, making sure that they're all becoming more aware of each other, right? Because the more you know the people, the easier for you to be able to work with them. Hopefully, that's the intent, right? But we do staff training together, so it's more focus-based. But this is more of something that's fun that everybody can enjoy. And I also have a video for this, and I know that there's photos there, but I think the video does better justice. There's usually about 15, 16 credit unions and over 500 that attend this event. And we also have about 4 or 5 business partners that join us. So again, it's a big picnic, so we also make sure that the family are invited. So we have things for the kids. You'll notice that the people that are pulling, they're not all from the same credit union all the time. So we try to do events that are working together. So.
Oh.
So the perpetual trophy, you get to keep that for a year for bragging rights. And the interesting thing is that the first year that we had the perpetual trophy, since we're the host, we put Calcom's name on there. And we were last place. And we still haven't won till today. There's also a CEO event that they never disclose to the CEO, but they always tell us to bring an extra clothing. So this year's CEO event was with a wiffle bat and a ball, and you're supposed to just simply move it from here to there, but they are shooting water guns at you while you're at it to make it a little bit more complicated. So, and I think this video might even have that unless it's already passed. But. I can tell you that the hiring for employees has changed in credit unions in Southern California. They want to make sure that they can do charades, they can do balloon toss, they can eat watermelon. So this is the CEO event last year. So that was the CEO Olympics. So everybody's collaborating, right? And I think we should keep promoting that. We can help each other out. the more we work together, I think the better we will be. At a minimum, it's not just surviving, but actually maybe even thriving. The more your members see that you're working together, the more comfortable they're going to be being with credit unions. What's the biggest stigma? Well, maybe not in Hawaii, but in the mainland, still not a lot of people know what a credit union is. When you tell them that, you know, why don't you join the credit union, they have an automatic thinking that you have to work for this place, or, you know, they don't even know that they have ways to join that credit union, or if you're a family member, you can join a credit union. So I strongly believe that, you know, if we promote ourselves as credit unions, it doesn't matter what every credit union names are, I think that's what's going to help us, you know, be in the member's mind, be in the consumer mind. Get out of that 7% financial market share. We're not competing with each other. We should be helping each other. I'm so glad that the leagues are also collaborating. The California and Nevada has worked together. And now with the introduction of Plexity, which does the back office for the leagues, we have New Jersey and Maryland, DC, with the California Credit Union League that launched this thing together. And so glad to hear, and it's been published.